So this has been set up before, right?
This has never been set up for me.
But
I actually found one of your videos where somebody else had a Supersport, so I tried to make some adjustments based off of that to see if they worked for me. The front was serviced by Bonimoto.
Okay.
I think he said it was the return side. The compression spring had actually been knocked out of place.
Okay. So sag in the back is at 30 mil.
Okay.
So you're right in the ballpark because you want to be basically 30 to 40. So you're smack in the middle with the amount of tension that's on the spring.
All right.
But you have no static sag at all because you had to wind it up so tight given your weight. So the compromise setting is the sag number is correct, but the back of the bike has no give in it. The front has plenty of lift, and that's what we should see in the back, which would be a 1/4 inch.
Okay.
But we can't have that because the spring that's on there is too soft for your weight. So the rate of the spring would have to be changed to an appropriate spring for your physical weight.
Okay.
So when that shock gets serviced and comes out, then you can put the correct spring on it.
Okay.
Very easy to do, very simple and straightforward to do as well. But that service interval, usually you just did the forks.
Mm-hmm.
So the service interval for the shock is roughly every 8,000 miles.
Oh, it's way overdue then.
Yes. So there's not a point of urgency, but while the front's fresh, it would be great if you could get that done in the near future.
Okay.
Versus next May.
All right.
Because this is not going to ride anything like that will. Because the oil that's in this is fresh. Its cold to hot viscosity change is very small window. Whereas that is going to be a lava lamp where it's old, thick, cold oil that'll go all the way to very thin, hot tap water oil. And the damping's very hard to set because there's so much oil variance from cold to hot and flow.
Okay.
So we'll optimize what we've got here. We'll be able to set this up however we want it. And then on the last part, we'll check the ergonomics out and what we need to do.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so first is the back of the bike. This is your compression adjuster. So we need to see where you are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ouch.
Sorry,
9, 10, 11, 12. 12 out. No, you didn't put the rock there. So 12 clicks out, and we actually need a little more because that's a little too soft. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. The next piece of the puzzle, this is worn down. There's no sharp edge here, and if you run your finger across it, there's a big step up. And this edge is all chamfered down, but that's nice and sharp. So when you hit a bump, it's pinging up. So your rebound adjuster is right here. We need to take it to maximum, so we're going to screw it this way.
All right.
So as you look at it, it will be clockwise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out. And we said it's old oil, so we're going to go 3. 1, 2, 3 to compensate for the age of the oil.
Okay.
The other piece is this rubber bumper here that I'm moving with my finger. If you can bring that in, see it?
Yeah, I see that.
That should be glued here inside. These come loose, so when the shock gets taken apart, that gets some RTV silicone or adhesive to put it back up here. Then you can see the silver shaft. If that's got an O-ring on it, which when you're servicing it you should have, you'll be able to see the amount of shock travel you're using.
Okay.
That will tell you if your spring preload is too tight or too loose, based on the O-ring and where it goes, because ideal travel is 1 millimeter or 2 before the bumper. But if the bumper's loose and flopping everywhere, you've got no way to tell.
Right.
So when it gets serviced, this is nitrogen, this is oil. You'll get the new spring, the bumper will get sorted so that it's glued in place, and then you'll be able to set sag and do all the other stuff. So when that happens, you just need to flick me an email. We'll go ahead and give you all the settings.
All right.
Okay, now we're going to go to the front. To get to the preload adjusters, we have to pull these little rubber pieces out because it stops the actual extension bar holding the right position. So we need to see where you are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can bring the bike up. 13, 14, 15. So 18 is your maximum.
Okay.
You're at 15 of 18. That tells us where you are. Now for the reality check, it's what are you using? And at 15 and 18, the golden rule is that it should be a finger clear from the bottom, and you're not. So first data point is that spring preload is almost at maximum, but your travel has very little buffer left in case you have to brake urgently.
Okay.
So that should be there.
All right.
Then you know you're safe. So there's a question here of, do you have the right springs? Do you have the right compression setting? We haven't looked at it yet. But at 15 of 18, that's a long way in. So it's just
Okay.
the first data point. Okay, so we'll put this back to 15.
So because I'm a big guy, I might need new springs front and back.
Back for sure.
Back for sure.
Inside the left leg, when preload adjusted there, that is your compression adjuster, and that is your bump compliance.
Okay.
Now if you're all the way out from maximum, and we always go clockwise first, then the amount of oil that's able to move is substantial, so you dive through the stroke. If you're close to maximum, then the oil's got to work extremely hard through a very narrow passage to get through.
All right, that makes sense.
So it's a flow control valve. So 1, 2, 9, 10, 10, 20, 20 of. That's 30. 39. So you're basically at 50%.
Okay.
So at this point, there's plenty of room on compression damping, and there could be the possibility that you turn the preload to 12 and set the compression at 8. So the spring isn't so wound down, so tight, but you use the hydraulics to be more effective.
And then that would give us the gap that you're looking for down there? Okay.
So I'm going to switch from 20 to 10. And then I'm going to take 3 turns out of each preload adjuster to correct it. We can leave that here because we need it to the other leg. So we're going to take 3 turns out of each one. Two, 3. Your ideal range on a spring is the middle third, which is 6 to 12. Your maximum range is 18, and you divide it into 3.
Okay.
So now that puts you at the end of the ideal range. Now if you get that ideal gap, and it's actually bigger than it should be, 10 can change to 12 clicks out. Right? You soften it up that little bit more.
Okay.
Optimize that gap. So you need to do the compression and the preload together as a team.
Okay.
Not do one independent of the other. Okay, now on the rebound side, this is up, down, and smooth. The front has to do exactly the same. Doesn't. So this valve is way open.
Okay.
So let's see where you are. Okay. We're going to 14.
That looked a lot better.
But it still bounces at the top of the stroke. See it?
Mm-hmm.
So 14 is not going to work. So now we're going to go to 10. And this is called range. Where does the adjuster work? That works fine. That works fine. So now I'm going to go back to 12.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find that pinpoint number. Fail. Okay, let's go to 11. failed. So 10 it is.
Wow.
And now the whole bike is even.
Oh, that looks like it'll be a lot better to ride.
Now, as oil degrades, every 1,500 to 2,000 miles, those rebound adjusters need to go one click in.
Okay.
Front and rear. Because at that point, as the oil degrades, that means it's going to go back to porpoising. And if you don't pay attention to that, you're just going to ever so slowly be the worst human on the planet because you're adapting. And eventually it becomes this massive seesaw and you don't know what's happening.
I feel like that's what's been happening since I bought this.
Sure. But now we know why.
Right.
So at this point, in terms of your experience, when you ride it now, it'll be a completely different experience. So the next thing for you to do is go ride it.
Okay.
And as you're riding, ride normally. Don't try and crush the cable tie. Just ride like you always would.
All right.
If that's the case, we're getting what we need out of you, which is consistent behavior.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
And we're just gonna go around the block on some familiar roads and come right back. Probably should have made a left. We'll go up here, turn around. I mean, oh man.
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. I got all this potential that's deep inside of me, but they hate when you're successful cause they try to be. They sit there being judgmental because you're trying to. They just want you to settle and keep
never been down here.
So get a good job, don't slack off. Wake up every morning, make a good impression on your boss. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do. And when you're making money, make sure you don't spend it too soon. Fuck that, I'll do what I wanna do. I got a different path from everyone and that includes you. Who are you to tell me how to live life? In these times it feels like nobody's right, yeah. So I'ma figure out what else will succeed, and then invest all of my time into that and proceed. I need whatever the hell could make me happy, and I don't think you have a clue what could that be. They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. I think this life could be special if I get rid of the devils. They think that I am a rebel, I think they want me to settle. There's nobody on my level. They think that work is too stressful, I think that work is essential. The grind is all in your mental, man. I don't think you understand what I'll go through just to be in control of my life soon. All the negativity, man, I'm immune. I don't really need a mask with all I've been through. I've been making changes for the ages. 5-10 year plans are contagious. I attack that shit, I'm tenacious.
Alright, you said you only had about 40 minutes. I just want to go to the end of that road and back. I went way too far if I'm by Costco. Oof.
If you ain't, get the fuck out of my way then. Got one life, I won't regret it. I will fight until I get it. I'll look back one day from heaven and say, damn, I learned some lessons. And say, damn, I had no questions. I had fun in every second, and the journey was a blessing, yeah. They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing.
I hope this makes it into the video. I just want to say big thank you, Dave, because this feels amazing. Like, the first time you made adjustments and I took it out for the test ride, it was a night and day difference. My
you know, everything's getting beat up. But this, the first time I went out, it was nice and smooth, but it felt a little disconnected. And whatever magic you pulled with those 2 clicks, I mean, I get feedback, but I'm not punched. It's amazing. It's like a brand new bike. That might be a little dramatic. This feels amazing.